welcome to where are my words? Welcome to Virtual Vegfest Live. I am Helene, and we're doing our spooky cooking demo today, and I'm super excited about that because it's Kathy Hester. Kind of put on some stuff that I have kind of laying around the house. I mean, it's orange, but I did get my master's degree, so I put my whatever this thing is on me that chokes you when you walk and you graduate. So let's say thank you to Terra Seed, who is our sponsor for our October. I'm like completely discombobulated at the moment. So our October sponsor, and go to virtualvegfest.com and go to our contest tab, and you can enter to win 7 different prizes that we'll be giving away tomorrow, because tomorrow is November 1st. From Orgain, Follow Your Heart, Hodo Foods, Crofters Organics, Cinnaholic, Terra Seed, and somebody else I can't remember. It's the second time. So just go to virtualvegfest.com, click the contest tab. Nobody else gives away prizes like we do. And all you have to do is subscribe to our social media, subscribe to their social media, go like our YouTube channel. Do that anyway and hit the little button to tell you when we go live, because then you can make sure you watch these. That'd be amazing. Also, we have other shows. Tomorrow it's 8 a.m. Wake Up and Yoga. Fantastic. You can do some yoga to start your week and start your day, which is with Kim from Piper Moon Yoga. And then at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, you have Fireside Chat with Kimberly, which is a great conversation about a specific topic each week. And then on Wednesday, we get the vegan stew, which will be a week from Wednesday because we have off. But Wednesday this week, we have Coach Kayla. So 7 p.m. on Wednesday this week, Coach Kayla. 7 p.m. the next week, the vegan stew. Lots of stuff, lots of cool things, new shows coming in 2022, in addition to the ones that we have. And let's get spooky. If you have any questions or comments, you know to put them in. Oh, happy Halloween. I'm looking them. There we go. Happy Halloween. And we got Laura, hi from Pittsburgh. And then Jamie from SC, South Carolina. I was going a completely different place. So let me pull Kathy and Cheryl in because they are so much fun. Like, there they are. Oh.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Halloween. Yay, hello from Vancouver. Awesome.
Cheryl loves dancing in her costumes. I'm going to remove, I put this on so you know I'm a basic witch this Halloween. That's my costume.
And I'm just happy to see Kathy and Cheryl because it has been a hot minute since we've done this.
I can't hide my beautiful purple hair that I'm super excited about. So overtone for brown hair. You don't have to bleach your hair, and it's all vegan product. So if you go to Overtone, I don't get anything from them. It worked out really well.
Hey, Elizabeth. So it's awesome. I love the purple. Love the purple. We got lots of people from all over it. And there's Dawn says you all look so cute, we decided last year this would be an annual spooky cooking demo because we started it in like 2020, and next year I'm guessing it'll be on a Monday. So it's Sunday this year. So
one day we'll have our party again. So you'll just be watching me make something for my party.
Right. We could just stream that live. So we've got some great food, which always influences what I have for dinner when we talk to Kathy. And there's some we're going to talk about alcohol and alcohol that doesn't have any alcohol in it, which is amazing. And date caramel and just teach us because you're the best.
So basically, so I have a Gothic dinner party every year before 2020. And part of the process would be actually tonight, about now, I would be like, oh crap, what am I making for an appetizer? Because I'd make a multi-course. I mean, usually it was 5 to 6 courses, and a few people would do something, but I'd always have a special soup, and the special soup would be made up on the spot right then. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And we'll talk about that, and I'm going to write the recipe down as I'm making it so we can make it again together, and you will get the recipe. We are going to cook down some dates and make a super easy date caramel for dipping apples. So if you're whole food plant-based, you have an option. If you are not whole food plant-based and you want something a little more sugarific, if you go to healthyslowcooking.com, you can get my butter beer recipe, which uses whole full-fat coconut milk and brown sugar. So it is not a whole food plant-based, but it's delicious and all vegan. we are going to make an Ancho chili pumpkin hummus, which is something I made a couple of weeks ago, and it's so good. It's so easy. So even if you're sitting there now and you were not feeling the Halloween spirit, because I got to tell you, I just haven't been feeling it either because it's warm and it's sunny, and I want some fog and like a chill in the air. But we're going to get there together. So the pumpkin hummus is so easy. We just really need a can of pumpkin, a can of chickpeas, and some spices, and we're going to blend it up. So even if you don't have some of this stuff, and if you don't have some of the ingredients, ask me for substitutions, because that's one of the things we'll do. And we'll talk about alcohol later, but I want to start on the soup. And so I'm going to make a black beluga lentil soup. So let me go back over here so I can show you overhead and you can see a little bit more. So I cut up some delicata squash, and this is what a whole delicata squash looks like. What I love about delicata squash is that we can eat the peel, so we don't have to worry about all this. So just clean it really good, take out the seeds, and then we can cut it up like this. This is about what that was. So I'd say 3 cups. Maybe I should write that down like a grown-up. And this is about half a large onion. This is what beluga lentils look like. That's why they call them caviar, because they do look like little caviar, I think. I don't know that I've really eaten caviar ever, even before I was vegan. But they're just really pretty, and they're a really fun Halloween thing. And speaking of that, we're not cooking with this today, but forbidden rice, can you see? This isn't a picture down there. That's just how dark that forbidden rice is. That's another super fun thing to do and to cook up, and even just put any of your stews over. So I'm going to move some of my decorations so that and isn't this guy just the cutest? Hello, happy Halloween. And I got that at Sprouts. It's what was it called? Something like Mad Kitty, or no, Bad Kitty. And I love that. So I'm just doing this in the Instant Pot. Could you do this on the stove? Absolutely.
So
And
Kathy, you have a question. Can I substitute it with another squash?
Absolutely. Acorn squash, butternut squash, any winter squash would be great. And if you could read me the questions, when I'm switching cameras, I don't see the questions. So that's great. I'm going to make this whole food plant-based. So I'm going to heat up a little water, so I'm going to press saute and start if you have a start button. If you have oil and you want to saute with oil, you need to heat up the oil enough, or the onions are going to kind of absorb it and be kind of yicky. But with the water, we don't care. Yay, water. And so we're going to saute these for a while until they're really translucent. And so I won't make you watch the whole time if you don't want to. But I'm trying to think too, what other, you could even use pre-cut up butternut squash that's frozen or not. I just wanted to add a little bit of kind of squash mystique in this. Have a little bit of black lentils. We could make this soup or stew. And so we could also put in sweet potatoes, and that would kind of thicken things up a little bit. But I'm kind of going for soup right now. If it's too soupy, when you get there, you can mash up some of the squash. Do you have any other questions for me while we're doing this?
No, but you got to thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. So it takes a little while for these to heat up. This is going to be the longest thing except for cooking the soup. And so one of the other things I'm going to do, I'll show you this and we'll start this cooking at the same time. So in here are some dates and just a little bit of water. And I'm just going to heat those up. And you could also choose not to heat them up, and you could soak them in water overnight. I decided at the last minute I was making this. Oh, I hate the way that squeaks when I move it. Let's see if I can do it and not annoy all of us.
We do have a Can You Read Us the Wheel of Fate?
Yes, I can.
Which is awesome. And
That
Joanne found you again, had you, but then lost the feed and couldn't find where you were heading. I have found you. So Joanne Lakes, glad you're here.
Yay! I always love to have Joanne and everybody here. I have too many things. Oh, we'll do the Wheel of Fate. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll hold it up to me so you can hear it, but you'll get to see some of it. And it does all the little things. It looks exciting. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
There is nothing more exciting than sauteing onions, is there? Am I lying? Yes. Yes, I am. But that's okay. So, Helene, what do you usually do on Halloween when you're not hanging out with me?
Well, I don't really. This isn't my holiday. This is more you. So I just this is my Halloween now. is to do a live with you because and if I'm not doing a live with you, I'm guess I'm at your house for dinner.
One day, huh? One day.
It will happen. I feel confident it will happen. Tofu for braids is actually adorable because I guess the Wheel of Fate knows what's coming.
It does.
That's
And
awesome.
Tofu for Brains is a friend of mine who also loves Halloween, which is kind of awesome. And in fact, it was thinking of you, Tofu, that made me decide I should make my signature soup. Because again, feeling a little cranky today, not feeling the Halloween. And I was like, you know what? If I make a soup, other people will make a soup, and we will have this wonderful Halloween dynamic together. That's what I'm saying. And I want to talk a little bit about kind of treaty cocktails and mocktails. So I was telling her this is a vegan wine. So this is not a mocktail version called Phantom by Bogle. And this is what I call my Halloween wine. I get a bottle every year. And I toast you with my Halloween wine, which is tasty. I also, and this is also on healthyslowcooking.com on the first page, I made a really good pumpkin spice syrup. And let's talk about that for a minute while I'm doing this, is that the pumpkin spice syrup there does use brown sugar and white sugar, but on plantbasedinstantpot.com, there's a fall syrup that uses maple syrup. And you could use, for the other one, you could use coconut sugar if that's on your okay list. You can infuse date syrup, but it's a little tricky. So you could also just put some spices and pumpkin and puree that up and use it with some dates or date paste. That would probably be the easiest way. So one of the cocktails I made with that, and I've made it both cocktail and mocktail way. So the cocktail, I use a little bit of hard cider, some pumpkin spice syrup, some lime juice, a sprinkle of nutmeg, and a little bit of bitters. And it's delicious. The mocktail version, there's a couple of mocktail versions. One is to use plain apple cider. And this one you can do hot as well. Put some of the pumpkin spice syrup in there and heat it up. And then it's all spicy pumpkin apple goodness. You could use a sparkling apple cider, which is going to really more mimic that hard cider. Or you could use a vanilla sparkling water or a different kind of sparkling water, maybe even lemon or lime instead of putting the lime in. Put a little bit of syrup in there. And I was talking to Helene about this. So I'll show you overhead. You can see that There we go. They are really cooking. So this is dark cane spirit. I want you to notice non-alcoholic spirits. There's no alcohol in here. This is a brand from Australia. This is an amaretto. So I thought these were really cool. I knew there were some no alcohol spirits, but I didn't know they did any that were like gin. And actually, I love gin. And I got, let's see, I think I have it over here. Do I have it over here? It's called Ginish. And I've been putting this in some tonic water, and it's delicious. So if you either want to take a break, you just feel like you want to have some time off without any alcohol at all, or you don't imbibe at all. Because when I have my parties, we always have a cocktail and a mocktail. So you never know someone's health issues. So to me, it's only polite to have a mocktail option. But I've had a lot of friends over the years that are in AA, and I don't want to give them, oh, here, you can have a Sprite. Let me have this wonderful butterbeer Halloween concoction, right? And so it's kind of interesting, and I'm going to be talking to some of my non-imbibing friends about how they feel about that. It doesn't have an alcohol burn, the rum, but I did get the non-alcoholic tequila, and they use spicy peppers to give an alcohol burn, which is also kind of interesting. Have you tried anything like that before, Helene?
I have not, but that is incredibly interesting that it gives you like a burn, because I never felt like tequila ever gave me a burn, maybe a bite, but not a burn. But we have some great comments, just so you know. It's
Okay.
pouring rain in Montreal, so it's perfect soup weather. That's from Lydia.
Oh,
And
excellent.
and then Joanne, sorry, 48 years ago on Halloween, she was in labor and delivered a 9.5 pound baby boy. And Tofu for Brains is an almost Halloween baby, so happy birthday to Tofu for Brains and happy birthing day to Joanne. And Lydia also said
Indeed.
happy birthday to your son, Joanne. And hi, Kathy. Hi, everyone. Is from JM.
Yay. It's awesome to have all you guys here. I usually do a less involved cooking demo, but you know, you guys are just in here to win it with me.
I don't know if you've always done a lot. Since the moment I met you, your cooking demos have been a lot.
I do kind of a lot, yeah. So I'm going to turn off the dates, and I'm just going to let them sit in that hot water. There wasn't very much. I put just a little bit. We may or may not have to strain them out. I'm also going to move this away. If you're late, this is a Delicata Squash, and it's delicious.
Does the Wheel of Fate have any thoughts about the mocktails?
Mocktails. Ooh. You're going to be, it's so good, you're going to think that you actually are drinking alcohol instead of what you're supposed to be. Not really. To me, it reminds me a little bit of kind of like rum of flavoring. So it has like the rum one definitely has like a very brown sugar undertone, which is what I would be looking for. And here's the thing, like I used to say, or you could put a little bit of like rum extract. Well, that has a lot of alcohol in it, actually. Even vanilla extract, unless you get a non-alcoholic one, which is available, but usually not all the weird flavors. Okay, here we go. We're going to put, actually, yeah, we're going to put like half a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm going to try and keep these. We're going to got onion in there.
Kathy, what's the brand again of the non-alcoholic alcohol?
That one is Liars. And you can get it from, I'm going to put a teaspoon of paprika. I'm going to try and separate these so I can put them all there in a while. We're going to use some Mexican oregano, or you could use some marjoram. They both have a lemony floral flavor. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of that. let's go ahead and put a little bit of guajillo too. We'll put half a teaspoon of guajillo powder, and I can talk about how to make these powders too. So I'm just gonna get the heat on them just a little bit, just to kind of activate it a little bit, make it a little bit stronger. That works really well with spices. I could have put regular garlic in there, but I just had this right here, so I decided to do it. I'm gonna put at least 3 cups of water. I brought over 4 cups, so I might, yeah, let's just use 4 cups. Living on the edge.
Don't forget to write that down.
Oh, I'm going to. Here we go. I would get these in here. So that's 1 medium, or yeah, it's kind of a medium large. But it's probably about 3 cups. 3 cups of Delicata, 4 cups of water, 1 cup of lentils. Okay. And let me look in here and see if I'm going to, because remember the lentils are going to double to triple. So we want it to still have a little bit in there. We do not want to add salt at this point. We want to add salt after it's cooked, okay? Because it's going to slow down the cooking time of the lentils. There's a lot of back and forth about it. Some people believe it, some people don't believe it. I'm trying to see what else I want to put in here.
So yes, your hair is purple. So we gotta is your hair purple?
You hear it?
And Kathy is making a soup right now with onion and delicata squash and spices and beluga lentils.
Yeah, we're making a little soup. And I would normally put in some bouillon cubes. I'm out of bouillon cubes. So we're going to have to add some umami a little bit different way. So you could put some mushroom powder in there. We're going to end up, when we put our salt in, we're going to put in some nutritional yeast. And I'm put that over here so I don't forget. And I'm going to put about a tablespoon of tomato paste to give it a little bit of rich umami goodness. And this is a half tablespoon measure, so that's why I'm going to put in 2 of these, which is 1 tablespoon. I don't want this really like tomato lentil soup. I just want to add a tinge so that it adds that undertone darkness. Now, some mushroom powder would be really good in this too. I find also that like with the Ancho chili powder, and if you don't have Ancho or Guajillo chili powders, you could, and I think I did, no, I don't think I put any Ancho in there. It's time. Let's put, and you can see, I'll show you the difference between the 2 chilies. These are the ones you see the most dried whole. So see how that one's darker? And it does have a darker flavor. This has a more fruity flavor. But the 2 together really put those nice layers in there, and it's really delicious. And what I do is I go and I buy those dried chilies. I dehydrate them some. You could do that in your oven. I do it back here in the Breville on the dehydrator setting until they're crunchy. So I take the seeds, the stems, and the ribs out, put them in there, and then I put them in a spice grinder. Okay, so we're going to take a little taste. This isn't going to be exactly, but this should, between smelling it and giving it a little taste.
Would you maybe add balsamic? Would you add the acid at the end?
If I put balsamic in, I probably would put it in at the end, though you could put it in now. You could put in some wine. We could throw some wine in there, but not my special Halloween bottle. But yeah, some balsamic would do good. So I'll bring that over and we'll put some balsamic in too. Let me find it.
Halloween. That's awesome.
It is my special. I've been getting a bottle of this wine for 10 years or more. And I just love it. That's the teriyaki. The problem is I have 8,000 kinds of balsamic vinegar. We'll look at finding it later. I think there might still be some up in the other cabinet.
Can the balsamic be a swap out for the tomatoes?
If you can't have tomatoes, don't use the tomato powder at all. I would use some mushroom powder instead. And yes,
Okay.
yeah, so I would see that as a separate thing. If you have a really nice rich bouillon, honestly, I wouldn't put it in at all. I'll put balsamic here and then we'll find that. Okay, so I'm going to put this on for about 15 minutes. I think that should be about enough.
The hardest part of an Instant Pot is putting the cover
on. Well, it's because
on.
I've been going back between. Nope. I've got the right one in here, don't we? Hopefully it's the right one. Oh, it's the wrong lid. Cheryl put it together and I didn't check it.
That's right. We're blaming Cheryl, but that's okay. She's in the
Well,
other
I
room.
am blaming Cheryl because Cheryl did it. Because I was trying to fix the other Instant Pot because of the pressure release. But you know what? This will be fine.
There
We're
we
going to
go.
pressure cook it for 15 minutes. Cheryl's been cleaning up the kitchen, which has been awesome. But sometimes everything isn't exactly as it should be. So do 1 teaspoon, half a teaspoon we did of garlic powder. We did a teaspoon of Mexican oregano, smoked paprika, and we can adjust these. So obviously we can't taste exactly what it's going to taste like. So after we open it up, we're going to taste it as we add salt to taste, nutritional yeast to taste, and we can add more of these ingredients as well. And I'm just going to say 1 tablespoon of tomato paste or mushroom powder. Okay. Do we need another one?
Well, I don't think Tofu for Brains will say no.
Okay. Ooh. I'm just scared you don't hear it if I don't do this. Oh, treat will be yours.
Who makes a good mushroom powder?
Me. You do. You just don't know it yet. So when you get mushrooms and you have leftover stems, go ahead and slice those, dehydrate them, and grind them in the spice grinder. I am a huge proponent of using a spice grinder. And it's just because, so I could go and buy ground up Ancho chili powder, but it's very expensive and it costs a couple of dollars to get a bag of Ancho chilies for me just to take the stems out and dehydrate. Same thing with mushrooms. Mushroom powder tends to be quite expensive. And if you go to, I buy my mushrooms at Li Ming's, the Asia market, and a lot of times they're really thick stems that maybe I'm not using for something. And I dehydrate them if they're shiitake or regular mushrooms or whatnot. And then you can just grind it into a powder. And it's like, at that point, it's free because you weren't going to use it anyhow.
What if you're lazy like Tofu for Brains? And also just understand Joanne Lakes wants a Cheryl as well because she's cleaning up the kitchen.
And I agree. And I want a Joanne Lakes in my neighborhood. So we can't all have what we want yet. But you can buy it at Amazon. You can buy pretty much anything you can buy on Amazon.
Okay. Awesome.
So that's what I would leave that as. And I think let's see if we can do our hummus next while that's cooking. And I'll let
Are you gonna self-release or are you gonna release it when it's up in the 15 minutes or the 30 minutes?
We'll do a little bit of a combination. That's why I wanted my other Instant Pot that I had. That's why I picked the one I thought that was the lid was on the correct one. And I can show you this. So this is not the normal Duo. And at first I didn't like it. It's like the Evo Duo something. But what I do like about it, okay, this is so you could take this off and put ice to let the pressure release quicker, but you have to buy the thing that you put the ice in. It's another $10 after this being a more expensive one. So chances are you don't want to do it. So it has this for steam and seal. It just goes like this, on or off, which is nice. But what I really like is this already spreads it out more, and then this lid spreads it out. So even if it's a soup, I can open it up and let the pressure release straight off without worrying. This other one, this is the only one that I know that has this. I'm going to have to let some out, stop, let some out, stop. So we're going to do a little bit. We're not going to wait a half an hour for it to go down, because it's going to take a while even just to get up to pressure.
Yep.
And if it takes too long, we'll figure something out. But the thing is you can't just go ahead and press it. If it's got a lot of liquid, what's going to happen is the steam is going to come out, and eventually some drops are going to start coming, bigger drops. And you can burn yourself, and you definitely will get everything on the counter. Yep. So that's why we press and release a lot and take a longer time to do it. No,
I hear you. I know the mess. So we've got a Finley says you can't buy a Cheryl on Amazon. That's from Dawn. And then Joanne Lake says, plus the pot has handles. I love the handles.
Yeah, I'll show you. You know what? Okay, fine. Cheryl will have to clean up too because of her mistake. We'll just stop it. We'll get it in the other one. And that way it'll be an easier release. Cheryl, can you help me plug this one in real quick? We can just swap them out.
I didn't expect you to do this.
Yeah, but at this point, I'm like, why not?
Yeah, it's just one thing. It's just cleaning the innards. That's it, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're going to have to pour it out because this one, and I'm trying not to get this in my face.
If Cheryl makes another cleaning mistake, I'm afraid you will be able to buy one on Amazon.
Did Donner Finley say that?
That's tofu for brains. Who is tofu for brains? Who is that?
A friend, and that needs to be unnamed.
Oh.
Who likes anonymity.
Okay.
So, but the reason it has to switch out is this one doesn't have any handles. So this other one is a commitment. If you can take this one away, and it's okay. The back of Cheryl's head may pop up at some point.
Got you, Tofu. I'm just going to call you Tofu for brains. I'm just going to call you Tofu from now on because it's your name.
That's what I do, Tofu.
Yep.
All right.
So Dawn has an off-brand Cheryl here. Only the original. The original is the best, just so you know.
Aw. You can see the back of her head.
Back of the head. It's my name.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll show you this real quick. Because then we will be able to release it quicker, so that will be a good thing. So see how this one, it actually has handles. That's why you can't just use any of the ones. It's actually super specific. And it's called Duo Evo Plus. I was right. So let me get that other lid. And that's why it wouldn't fit on, though, because I was like, I know it's different, but dang. Okay. So this is one I usually like to do with demos because I can let the pressure release better. And so it's on 15. It was meant to be. Now,
clearly.
You can't see. This has one of those more like, I know LED screens, or it's probably some other kind of screen, but computer-y screen. And what I want you to really know is for things like soup, cake, when you're going, this one doesn't have a cake setting. I bet I can't. I want to make cakes. Well, all those settings are just preset pressure cooking settings. for the most part. That's like 99% of all of the ones that are there. They're like, I think this one has a sous vide setting that I haven't played with yet. Yeah, it has sous vide and yogurt. The other one I was using was a Duo Air, which means it had the air fryer lid. And if you guys want to ask questions about Instant Pot air fryers, if you're looking to get one, post away because I would love that.
That one looks amazing though. I love the hardest part about the pressure cooking in the Instant Pot is I just don't release anymore because I you almost want to like put your head in there and get like a steam bath or something, but you can't because it'll burn you. But
Well,
that
there's some good ways to do it. I only have half of. Oh, here we go. Here's the whole dragon. This doesn't work with the two models that I have here. So since I have two books I've written on Instant Pots, the Ultimate Vegan Cookbook for your Instant Pot and Gluten-Free Vegan Cooking in your Instant Pot, I have like 6. So I try to keep up. I don't keep up on every one because now they're putting out like 5 a year. Like I just went to the store yesterday and saw Instant Pot Pro. Well, Instant Pot Pro looks suspiciously like this Duo Evo Plus. So I don't know if it's the same, but you can get something like this. So look, it's a dragon. And so this fits on the regular Duos. You put it on the little thing, and instead of moving it, and I always suggest just kind of to let the steam out slowly. You can let the steam out. What happens is this contains all those droplets, except for what comes out of his mouth. It's super dramatic because then you do it. It's like, whoa, steam out of the dragon's mouth. It's a cool Halloween trick and things like that. You can also get some sort of piece of pipe at Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. If you look online, you'll find what you're supposed to get. So you can get one super cheap. I think this was like $15 or $16, but it's a dragon.
right. I think you used it last year actually.
I probably did if I did anything in the Instant Pot.
So we do have a question from JM. How does the IP air fryer lid really work? I don't have the space for a separate air fryer, so I've been thinking about possibly getting the lid for my existing Instant Pot.
And that is a perfect and wonderful question. So I'll tell you some stuff and then I'll ask you this question that you can think about too. Like, how much food do you need to air fry? Is it just for you? With whatever is on the top of the air fryer in a single layer, which is about that, right? Is that enough single layer French fries for your family? They do have a double layer. The double layer doesn't work well at all. I always burn myself when trying to change them so that they cook evenly. If you just want to do tofu or maybe crisp up, if you're a family of one or two, that would probably work out okay for you. If you are a family of 3 or more, I don't think you can make enough food for that. Like you can't, that's not very many like soy curls. But you could probably put 2 or 3 slabs of tofu. Maybe you could squeeze 4 slabs of tofu in there for your main meal. Does that help a little bit? Because what happens, I'm like trying to see. Oh, here, I'll bring it over. So I'm grabbing the air fryer lid, which is probably super dusty over here. And it's actually by that ice thing, so I can show you that too. I can get this out. Here we go. Nah, I got it. Okay. Instant Pot show and tell. So this is the little thing I was saying that costs $10 for this expensive one. So you can stick it on there and it actually helps you release the pressure sooner. So Helene, you might like that too. So it kind of cuts the time down. This is the top that goes on it. So the one I had actually has the plug-in for it because it comes together. You can buy a separate lid like this, but see, it looks a lot like an electric stove burner, right? And then there's a fan behind that. So it blows it down into there, which means the first layer is going to get cooked. And if there's a second layer, I don't find that it cooks well. Now you can dehydrate 2 layers quite easily because if you're like me, I put it in the dehydrator and I go to bed, and in the morning I deal with it. So if that's you, then that could work. So what do you think? Do you think that would work for you or not? Because I'd love to know. I'll see if I can.
Very helpful. James said very helpful. And then Dawn said, can you cook in the bottom of the
No.
Instant Pot when you're air frying at the same time?
And that is a great idea in your mind. So that fan, it has all this electrical stuff. So if you're cooking lentils at the bottom and air frying tofu on the top, all that water is going to get sucked up and blown around. So it would be, I'm assuming it would be a super shock hazard. So you want to air fry separately. So I'm trying to think of it. Okay, here's a good vegan version. So if I cooked a whole cauliflower in the Instant Pot and I wanted to crisp up the curry spices on the top, I still would drain the water out and then I would put the top on. I mean, it's not super strong, but it just doesn't, it doesn't seem safe. I should read and see what they say to do, but my thing is no, don't do it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because the thing that they use as an example a lot is like a turkey, which, you know, a cauliflower is the closest vegan equivalent to a big whole thing you'd cook for a long time in the Instant Pot. But yeah, like, and what I love about the Instant Pot too, and I'm getting this stuff together to make the hummus. So I'm just going to strain the aquafaba or the bean water out of here for some other use. Perhaps even if this doesn't blend enough and we need some more liquid. And see, this one is almost already coming up to pressure. It's real close. So I do find some nice things about it. Make sure, I'm pretty sure I have that on vent. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I mean,
on
sealed.
It just came to pressure.
Yeah. Whenever I'm playing with it and doing demos, I'm like, who knows where I left that thing last? Okay, so I think, yeah, I want to put the pumpkin on the bottom. We're just going to do a can of pumpkin and a can of drained chickpeas. And then I have a mess. Let me sit this over here.
Jam likes that strainer, just so you know.
Huh?
Jam likes that strainer. Says that strainer is great.
And I think I got it at a conference. So I do like it too.
I have one of them as well.
Do you? Where did you get yours?
That's a great question.
See, I miss conferences. I had to buy my own pens like a human being.
You don't have to buy pens. You just ask me for pens. I've got like 100 pens. If you need pens, you just ask me for pens.
I will be asking you for pens next then.
Yes, and they're really nice pens.
Got me some super cute Halloween spatulas. This is my favorite. Can you guys see that? Property of a bad witch. And this is like eat, drink, and be scary.
Those are adorable.
I know. Aren't they cute? That was my Halloween present.
So Dawn was wondering where you get a strainer like that. I almost feel like mine might be Pampered Chef, but I'm not sure. If I was closer to my kitchen, I could run away. I'd just be gone, not hear anything. I had to run down the stairs and go find it. But I think if you just look up for like a can strainer, you can easily find one. And of course,
you can get them on Amazon. Yep. You can, if you're willing to pay.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that much.
Okay, we're going to see if this is going to. I wrote down the spices because this is an Ancho chili pumpkin. So I'm using Ancho chili. So shocked, right? We are going to use some smoked paprika, which is another one of my favorite things to use. some garlic powder and onion powder. I'm using one weird ingredient. Ooh. I didn't bring the salt over here. You're going to need some salt or salt substitute, and we can talk about that too. Okay, here we go. We're going to use a teaspoon of Ancho chili powder. Okay, you're like, I want to make this now, lady. I don't have this crazy ingredients. Use chili for the stew powder or chili blend. That will work too. I'm going to put a little extra in because it's Halloween. We're going to do a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And if you feel like your spices are a little less, a little old, you could add a little bit more. Onion powder, we're adding about a half teaspoon. Garlic, we're going to add about a teaspoon. What I really like about this dip is you're making something magical out of basically nothing for all intents and purposes. The one weird ingredient that I used in this, I happen to have some jalapeno white balsamic. When Cheryl and I went on our little vacation earlier this year, ooh, that is terrible. Let's see if we can get that to focus. There we go. And do you have to have this? No. A little regular balsamic, you could put some jalapeno powder in there. And we're just using like half a teaspoon. We're just using a little bit, not that much. Okay. So we're going to blend this stuff up and see if it needs any water. That's always going to depend on our pumpkin puree. So if you've made it at home, it could be thin or thicker. So if you make it at home, you could take a pie pumpkin, and you see those guys back there, the smaller pumpkins, that's what you want to cook with, not the big jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. Okay. Fingers crossed this will be enough. I like the way this is. I'm going to shake this around a little bit. One of the things I like about the Ninja, and maybe I should have put the pumpkin at the bottom, because it's just, see, let me let you see what's happening. So it's kind of stopping itself up, right? Because of that. So I'm just going to kind of go and mix some of this down in with the pumpkin a little bit more. And what I didn't want was just the chickpeas to be stuck at top. I really wanted them to get going, but it was possibly not the best decision. And that happens. Happens to me, it happens to all of us. So when you're experimenting with food, don't be hard on yourself. Let yourself kind of see how this experimentation works. Learn from it. Maybe one kind of canned pumpkin, maybe one brand you love, it's the perfect texture, and another one, it's too watery. So we learn all this stuff as we try new things. And what I want most of all is for this not to be overly watery, okay? And so that's why I'm going to give it a go before I add more liquid. Oh, cool. Come on, you can do this. Yeah, I'm going to have to add a little bit of water or aquafabas right here, so that's what I'm going to do. I always feel like it's like this game of chicken. And I saw Patricia. I found a way that I can see the comments and change my cameras. But Patricia found one at the dollar store, and that is definitely more my speed. Okay. And what we want is just enough liquid so it blends, but we want it to be nice, thick hummus. Put maybe 2 tablespoons-ish. Let's see how that goes. The only thing I don't like about the Ninja blender is when you keep doing it again and again, the lid is a little harder to get on and a little goopier every time.
So Tofu says, I wonder if it worked better in the Vitamix. Sorry, Ninja. I say yes.
It will, but I'm saving that because I want the caramel hummus to be super smooth. This is going to do it, I think. See, it's done. It's good. If I wasn't so stubborn, it would have been fine. Okay, so I'm going to taste it. I did not put any salt, so I'm going to put a little bit of salt and taste and see if it needs anything else. Get some taster spoons over here. Let me let you guys see it too, because it's such a pretty color from the pumpkin and the ancho. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a little taste. You can, even with that little bit of balsamic, you can taste that and the jalapeno really well. Definitely needs probably about ½ teaspoon of salt. If you don't want to use salt, you can make my kind of all-purpose salt substitute by taking 1 tablespoon onion powder, 1 tablespoon garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon ground celery seed, and put that in a spice grinder, and then just use that instead of salt. It really adds a nice flavor. I think I'm going to add a little more ancho and a little more smoked paprika too.
So Tofu says it's beautiful. What will you serve it with? Blue corn chips?
You could serve it with corn chips. You could serve it with crackers. You could serve it on like roasted potatoes or like French fries, you know, or air fried French fries, roasted potatoes.
Or your air fried potato chips that you recently posted?
Yes, air fried potato chips would work really great too. One of the things I want to do with this is make a grilled cheese sandwich with it. So I want to take a vegan cheese, like a nice bread, spread this on, and then do that. I think that would be really good. And you could even put like some pear or apple slices in there, and that would be a really amazing fall sandwich. That's good enough for now. You could also do, of course, like any crudité, any kind of like carrot sticks, celery sticks, anything like that too. I think any kind of air fried, what am I trying to say? Like strip vegetables, like if you did zucchini fries or anything like that, you could make this a little bit thinner if you wanted to, though. I think this is still the perfect thickness for dipping into something like that. You could also dip tofu in it, like air fried tofu strips or tofu fingers.
It also seems like something that if you heated it up would be like a fondue.
Yeah, I do have some really good, I have a great almond fondue. And I need to put up that, I updated the recipe and I haven't put it up there yet. But so like, see, have this on here and a plate of stuff to dip it in. And I should taste it again too. Yeah. You could also, if you didn't like exactly where it was and you wanted to elevate it, some other things you could do. We could put fresh garlic in here instead of garlic powder. We could put roasted red pepper, though that would change the color slightly, but you might be okay. You could use an orange roasted pepper. You could, I'm trying to think. Some sage would be really good in there, or fresh rosemary pureed in there would be nice and fallish too.
Nutmeg.
So I think
Nutmeg or cinnamon. You can go that direction.
I actually, and if you go to healthyslowcooking.com, I have a pumpkin pie dip. So what I did in a class recently is I actually made the pumpkin spice syrup, which uses a 1/4 cup of pumpkin, and I made a sweet and savory dip with the other. So I split it. This is how this came to be. I split it. I pureed the beans, a can of beans with what was left of the pumpkin. And then I split it in half. Half I did this, the other half I did a little maple syrup, but you could use date syrup or dates, and all the pumpkin pie spices. It tastes just like pumpkin pie filling, and it has beans in it. And I think maybe it had a tablespoon of maple syrup. So, I mean, you could do that on a vegan cookie, on apple slices, and things like that too. So, okay, how hot is that? Probably hot. Let's see. Okay, I think that this is going to be okay the way it is. I'll let you guys see this. These are our dates that I had in a little bit of water. Let me get a different spoon.
What kind of dates are those? They're not medjool.
They're not, they're like, what is it? Is it deglet or something?
Yeah, that's what they look like.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I've never heard it out loud. And so basically it's just soaked up. I wanted to use the Vitamix for this one because I didn't soak these all day. And normally I would. So, and I'm going to go ahead. There's a little bit of liquid. And I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of water in case they need it, since they're not going to be as waterlogged as the ones that I would normally have soaked all day or all night. But this is absolutely, we're going to put a couple of teaspoons of vanilla. Smell that. To me, it's the vanilla that really turns this from pureed dates to a caramel. And you want to keep it thick because we want it to look like caramel. We want it to seem just as treaty, and that's really important. And we'll see if this is, okay, this may work as is. And I know I need a plunger, but this still isn't good.
If you're going to soak all day with the dates, would you put them in the fridge for that?
It's probably best. I don't always. It depends on the weather, honestly. If it's, I keep it like an ice box in here. So if it's winter, and I'm just doing it for like that many hours, I don't worry about it, but it's probably best practice, and you're probably safest doing it that way for sure. Just a little bit more. Let's see if that'll do it. You can also put these with some water in your slow cooker. This is my life, is always just like almost, but not quite. It's because I like things so thick that I'm willing to do this. So if that's not your main objective, if you're like, I don't really care, I just want it to taste like caramel, you could go ahead and use more water to begin with. But the thing is you can't take the water out once it's in there. You can always put more water in. And if you put too much water in, you could cook some more dates or soak some more dates and thicken it up that way. Getting closer. See, and look, I bought enough time that our soup is cooked. Ha! I'm gonna put a little more in here. Let's see. to me, it should be doing it. Yep, I'm gonna have to stick a thing in there. And then I'm gonna be mad because it's not thick enough. Probably because I'm overcompensating. What a Halloween this is, you guys. So what are you guys? I want to know what everybody's doing for Halloween tonight. Besides watching me. I know that's what Helene is doing for her holiday. Anybody else? Tofu, aren't you watching a movie tonight? What movies have you already watched? I've been watching things on the Disney Channel, and I got the coolest Halloween Disney sweatshirt yesterday at box lunch. Is anybody else as stubborn as I am, or is it just me?
Well, Elizabeth is randomly setting up for unexpected guests, which might be trick-or-treaters. And Tofu said that's what they're doing, kiddo. And Joanne had to go feed her cat. So, are you going to put in? Is it just the dates and the vanilla?
Yep.
And that you're just getting the thickness, and nothing else is going to go in there.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Because dates already taste a little bit like caramel. You know what? I'll go ahead and pour the rest of this in. This seems excessive. So I may end up with a syrup. And if I do, actually, I do make caramel syrup with dates as well. And I use it in my coffee as coffee syrup. Okay. And it works out really well. But that's all that there is to it. It's super easy. Did it.
So Tofu said no movie, Animal Crossing Halloween. Paula is doing some home cooking. JM is rewatching Stranger Things season 3.
Ooh.
Dawn says if it's cool enough out, they'll sit outside and wait for trick-or-treaters. Elizabeth, I'll put this up again, loves watching you cook on the fly, gives her confidence in the kitchen. Lydia is waiting for trick-or-treaters. And Tofu wants to know where season 4 of Stranger Things is. And Joanne says, I've lived in Florida. We don't have children in our neighborhood. James says, next year, let's hope for the season for Stranger Things. And Joanne says, so no guests. Interesting enough, I have children that live across the street from me, and I never get a trick-or-treater. I think you froze. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, so see how thick that is? Like, even still. And I'll show you from this side too. I just want you guys to see why I'm wanting it to be like this. So see, look, that's thick, right?
Yep.
Because I want when I dip an apple slice in there that it holds on. And I love this stuff so much.
You can't go wrong with dates and vanilla and some water. It's the simplest thing ever. It's just a matter of getting it to the thickness that you want.
It is. And that's the only thing that takes a little bit of finagling. And honestly, if you're not on video and people aren't waiting for you to be done, it's a little easier and less pressure felt.
Gina, so hi Gina, welcome, because she's part of our community as well. How long can you keep the caramelized dates in the fridge?
Oh, I would say at least a week. You might be able to go a little bit further, but probably not. And what's going to happen is they are going to mold. Eventually, at some point, it is going to go moldy. You could make it taste butterscotchy and put a little apple cider vinegar in there, and that would also prolong the life. You could also put a little bit of salt in there to make it like a salted caramel. I didn't do that since I'm trying to make the whole food plant-based version. Do not use the generic salt substitute blend that I told you about to use for sweet food.
No. Savory.
Yeah, savory only. I know it seems kind of like we're leaving somebody out, but it's just the way it is. Okay, so let's take a look at our soup and see what we need to change. And I'll let you guys see most of this. Let's see if we can see it. Well, you can see some of it here too. So let's start here. So if I open this and close it, but do you see the fine mist? It's very fine. And you can see it here too. See how fine it is, and see how the only drops of liquid are underneath that cover.
That's really nice.
Yeah. And while you guys are watching that excitement happen, I'm going to see if I can track down my good balsamic. This month I've taught 4 classes because I did a, we could use this one. I have a balsamic fig and elderberry. That could work really, really well. That's this one. It's called Black Drizzle. It's got some figs, elderberries, and brown sugar, which will go nice with the Delicata Squash. I know I have it. I have a really, really good balsamic. I just think I've hidden it somewhere. There are too many bottles of everything here. What other balsamic? We've got elderflower, lavender, blackberry ginger. Oh, here it is. Or we could use, this is probably with this one is what I like to do is to drizzle it on top. It's really, really thick. But so do you see how this is not causing an issue? And so someone was saying in my classes, I noticed you started using this one more because I've had it for about a year, and I was like, because some of the Evo Pluses, they go to burn message quicker. And so I don't like that. So this may, a lot of this, the lids, this will stick up. So see, I just tapped it. So the pressure is done. Ooh, it looks good. You'll see some, it smells good, but let's see what we have to do. So no matter how good it smells, we know we need a few things in there. So let's look here. So it is very close to, it's a thick soup or a thin stew. I think it's really pretty. I like the way the Delicata Squash, I was hoping, gives you a little bit of that texture and color from the skin. And you can press a lentil.
It looks incredible.
We can taste it. Yeah. And literally, I just made this up like while we're doing this. So we want to make sure that the lentils are done. So I'm going to taste them. They're done. That's the most important thing. Okay, definitely need some salt, which I put here. This sounds like a lot more salt than it is. I don't even think I'm up to a teaspoon yet. This one doesn't shake out very well. I'm going to put, let's start off with a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. If you had chosen to use like a salt-free chickeny broth or used a bouillon cube, you wouldn't have to put this in. We'll let that kind of melt in. Also, if you use the kind that has B vitamins, you don't want to cook with it. You want to put it in after that, because if not, the B vitamins, lose their oomph. I'm going to put another teaspoon of Mexican oregano in there. And again, that could be marjoram. Get back to this page.
Can you remind us of what kind of Instapot that is again, please?
It is the Duo Evo Plus. If for some reason they are, and actually I'm going to do another teaspoon of smoked paprika. I did notice, like I said, I was at another store. It could be Duo Pro now. I'm going to put a little more smoky because I like smoky. If you hate smoky foods, just leave it out. Use regular paprika. And I'm going to put a little more garlic powder in there too. So I'm kind of doubling up on all the spices pretty much. And that happens a lot of the time. I'm also going to put an unusual ingredient in here, I think. For what I have in here, I think some powdered rosemary would really bring this out. So I'm going to start off with half. Now, you may not have powdered rosemary. You may have the stick kind, and then you could just use like a teaspoon of it. Oh, because to me, rosemary just brings that kind of piney fall flavor. And though it doesn't go so much with the ancho, we're not really pulling out, we're not making kind of Mexican flavors. We were using that to darken up basically what our broth is like. So let's taste a little of this. Yes. And that, it's always for me when I'm developing something like this, I'm smelling, I'm tasting. So like another thing you could do, like if you're like, well, Kathy said powdered rosemary went with this. I don't know. Smell the two together. You will get a deep in your stomach either, oh, I don't want to do that, or oh my gosh, that could be really beautiful. And it's just, rosemary goes so well with lentils, these winter squashes. And like I said, we have, it's not a tomatoey soup either. So tofu, when we were talking about not using the tomato paste, you're not going to miss it. You could add another dark element like mushroom powder. You could put in, you know, the rosemary would probably be good like that too. Let me put that, I did a half teaspoon of rosemary. If I can get it together, I'll try and photograph the leftovers and get the recipe up on the blog tomorrow. But let me grab some cauldrons and we'll serve this up. You could also make some croutons and you could cut out some Halloween shapes, and that would be really awesome. We've got baby cauldrons and big cauldrons because we usually have 13 people when we can, right, for our Halloween party. And I love soup. I'm going to get that off of the, okay. And I did not put any balsamic in, but I think what I'm going to do is a balsamic drizzle on top. But that's up to you.
That looks so good. It almost looks good enough for us to get in the car and come over. See you in 45 minutes.
And it's made out of nothing, right? So, and I think that's why I kind of wanted to do this, because people think, oh, I don't have time to do all these things, right? We threw in a couple of things and some spices, and that was it. Let's see if I can. And there you go. In that, now it's fancy and everything. And I have some, this is a black salt. This is not kala namak, but this is truly like a black lava salt. And you could also put some of that on for garnish, just to make it look a little more Halloween-y. I do that a lot. And so from what? An hour and 15 minutes with us changing slow Instant Pots, we have soup. We have Delicata Squash soup, Beluga Lentils. We have a whole giant mess of pumpkin hummus that we can eat. And you could put chips. You could eat it with chips. You could eat it with so many different things. You can do, if you get a French bread and like lightly toast it, then dip those in it. That would be super fancy too. You can even make them into little crostini by toasting up some of those French bread that's been cut up. Put that on, and you could even do like a little drizzle of balsamic, and that would be out of this world. And then we have for dessert some fresh fall apples sliced thinly that we're going to dip into our date caramel. And I mean, this is a fairly decent feast, I think. Let me bring this over so you can at least, I didn't put this in anything. Sorry. I guess I should. What I got here. Ooh, we'll put it in this one. Look, we'll put it in the, I got these cool magic potion things with lids. So I'll let you guys see how yummy licious this is. But so who's up for making some of this stuff? That's what I want to know. Does everybody feel like you can make this now? If you could, is there something you're missing in your kitchen and you want to know something different? Like maybe you don't have dates and maybe you eat sugar. So again, you can make the butterbeer syrup, cook it down a little bit more, and you could use that. And that's just a can of coconut milk, some sugar. The butterbeer in specific does use a little bit of vegan vegan butter, but you don't have to do that. That just makes it, that's the butter for the butterbeer. So see, it looks pretty yummy. So now you get to see everybody.
What if I don't have the pumpkin for the hummus?
Okay, so let's talk about other hummuses you can make. You could use those spices and just make a chickpea hummus. You could totally do that. If you had anything like sweet potato flour or pumpkin flour, which most people don't, you could add that in. You could, if you have a winter squash, you could cook up some winter squash puree. You could actually cook any kind of vegetable. You could cook some cauliflower, steamed cauliflower, steamed green beans, steamed kale, puree that up and put it in together. So you can make a green one really easy with kale.
I can do carrots.
Yep, you could do carrots. You could do sweet potatoes, butternut squash. I always try to get a lot of pumpkin. So I'm still using up some pumpkin from last year when the Amazon store, like the return store, was open, which is now closed forever. But like I had gotten things like a case of organic pumpkin for $8, a case of Amy's soups for $8. So I miss it. But if you can get, especially if pumpkin goes on sale after Thanksgiving, it's good for over a year. So grab a couple of cans on sale if they put it on sale. The past couple of years where I am, they haven't. But at Kroger's, that's where they tend to do it the most.
Okay, and we don't have Kroger in our community, so it's Harris Teeter for us. Kroger in Tennessee.
Wegmans. I don't need to go to
Wegmans.
the Harris Teeter.
Yeah,
Wegmans has
Sprouts.
everything.
So does Sprouts.
Yeah, I like Sprouts too. I go to all the grocery stores, really. I kind of don't discriminate. I'm like in all of them. And I go to the Indian market and the Asian market quite frequently too. And so like kombucha, or not kombucha, the squash. What am I trying to say? The K, I've got one right behind me. Kombucha. Not kombucha, but kombucha squashes. A lot of times you can get these cheaper in Asian markets because they're used in a lot of the cuisine. Another thing is while Trader Joe's has squash, like that's how I got some of my pie pumpkins and things like that. They charge per piece, whereas most every place else does per pound. So if you go in when they open a box and you could get you could get a giant one for $1.99 or a teeny one for $1.99. So you've got to kind of play it. I am the lady that is at the Trader Joe's looking for the biggest cauliflower. That's me.
That's fair. There's something I wanted to share with you. I was just seeing if Steven could bring it up, but he's out there, but I don't think he saw my text message. I've been buying spices from a place called Pinch Spice Market. Have you heard of it? Because one, it's the best name ever for a spice company. I like ever. And the thing that I love about Pinch Spice Market, and I get nothing for this, it's all organic. It's all organic. and they do mixes. And I got a little bag, and now I'm getting
Mhm.
pounds of spices because I'm using them a lot. I use like this barbecue one. It's like a barbecue flavored chip mixture on my
Mhm.
popcorn with nutritional yeast. And they have like
Yep.
this other salt seasoning one, which I put in. They have this Buffy Vampire Slayer one, which is a lot of garlic and everything. Absolutely incredible. So
Well,
I go everyone go check them out because they're in Kentucky and they're a small business and I've fallen in love.
I'll definitely take a look. I do love Penzies.
Mhm.
And I will say to everybody, if you're not looking for blends and you're looking for single spices, you're going to find the cheapest spices of the highest quality at ethnic markets. Like I go to the Hispanic market to get my chilies, and I can get them off the table dried. But you can also, if you live in the middle of nowhere, you can get them at Walmart. So they're accessible, but realize when you go to like Li Ming's, an Asian market that's in Durham, or one of the many amazing Indian markets, that you're still supporting small businesses in your area too. But like Indian markets, like sometimes you can get a pound of a spice for less than what you can get a tiny thing, glass jar at Harris Teeter for. Like I had to send Cheryl out to get some ground cardamom, and it was like $9.
Right. But I need it.
I
I
had to
need it
have it right
now.
then.
Right.
And see, and I even have like a spice thing that I keep all of my spices. Actually, I think there's too much stuff on it, and so I just put the bags. I rubber band them, because here's the difference between spices and herbs. Herbs don't last forever. Spices do. Okay, because herbs are the leafy parts of the plants. And spices are like barks and seeds and things like that. But that's why we will put them on the heat, and the heat will activate a spice, right? And get it to get fragrant again. So a lot of my recipes for soups and other things are like saute the onions until translucent, add some garlic, add the spices, saute until fragrant. I want you to smell them, and you'll smell it again, and it blooms. So
Right.
you may think you can't use a pound of cardamom, but in the next 6 years you will.
Right. Maybe. So, Lydia, the Kathy's going to work on getting a picture of the soup and the recipe up on her blog maybe tomorrow, but I would say let's go with next week.
Yeah, at some point. At some point. But like, so I'll read it out to you guys if you want to get a, like, because it was super easy. We did probably 1 cup minced onion, sauteed until translucent. I didn't even use regular garlic. We used 4 cups of water, a cup of black beluga lentils. Those could also be the green lentils. If you want to use the regular brown ones, you just might need to cook it a little bit longer and or add a little extra water. It's going to take up a little more time to cook and take a little more water to cook. We used 2 teaspoons. Oh, we did 3 cups of Delicata Squash, which was just that's my guesstimate of my 1 large one. So you could go up or down as you please. 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano, of smoked paprika. We did 2 teaspoons of Ancho chili, because we were adding in that other stuff. Let's see, we did a quarter teaspoon. I didn't put all the numbers down. 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic, or that could be like a couple of cloves of garlic minced. If you wanted to put it in right after the onions, we did a half teaspoon of rosemary powder. We did 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. That could also be mushroom powder if you wanted to, or use bouillon cubes, which I was out of, to add that extra umami flavor in it. Then right before serving, we added, I added a teaspoon of salt, a quarter cup of nutritional yeast, and then I chose to just garnish the soups with the balsamic, or you could put the balsamic in until till it tastes the way you want it to. The salt should be to your taste. If you like more salt than I do, you should put more salt. If you can't have salt at all, you can use the salt substitute, and that was 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, mixed together with 1 teaspoon ground celery seed, and then you use it as you would use salt. And Finley actually has made me a jingle, but I haven't actually gotten that post up. So you guys will get to hear Finley sing the salt-free jingle soon because Joanne asked for it.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Well, this was incredible. I mean, everyone, like, I love doing this with you because the people who follow you are amazing. And then they come over and they watch our stuff too, which I absolutely love as well. Notice Pinch Spice Market's urban spice ones have salt in them, but thanks for letting us know. Some of them do, some of them don't, because the garlic one, the Buffy one, does not. So it depends on which one.
Well, and with some of those blends, you guys, if there's a blend that you find that has salt and you wish you had a salt-free version, because like I have a salt-free version of a barbecue potato chip that I did a few years ago for a book. I'm going to be trying to put up more of my spice blends on the blogs in the next few months. So if there's one that you want to request, just send me an email. You can always email me at kathyhester@gmail.com. Just put in the subject, hey, can you make the spice blend? Or, hey, I saw you on this, because I'm getting a lot of emails right now. So if I don't answer you back, it means I didn't see it. It doesn't mean I don't want to talk to you. I promise.
Right. Kathy gets a lot of emails. I know that because I message her emails because I get them because I'm on her social media as an admin. So I see them come through. So yes, and a lot of people do say, hey, can I get the recipe for fill in the blank? And I don't pay attention to whether you respond or not, but I'm pretty sure you do. which is awesome because most people aren't that accessible.
I do the best
as
I
giving.
can.
Yeah. I mean,
well, we all need a little help, and the past 2 years have kind of been hard for everybody. So let's do the best we can and let's enjoy this. And if you're not a big Halloween person, I like it because you get to be a kid and dress up and watch movies. Like we're probably going to watch Hocus Pocus tonight. And there's Cheryl, what's the name of that ghost show that we've been watching? It's actually originally from Britain, but Ghosts is what it's called. And it's on HBO Max. Is the English one or the American one?
HBO Max one is the British one, and the American one's on Paramount Plus, maybe?
The American one is either on Paramount Plus or Peacock. It's
CBS, I think.
Now she's
Paramount.
saying CBS. We don't know where.
Paramount. Yeah,
Okay.
CBS is Paramount Plus now. So
okay, so Paramount Plus. The original English version is, and it's not a scary thing. I promise. It's actually a comedy. It's hilarious. So this lady and she inherits this old house from someone she didn't really know. It's this giant estate. And then she hits her head. There's all these ghosts in the house. And now she can see the ghosts, but only her. And so they talk to her and they're like negotiating for things for like the American one. The Viking is in the American one. And so the Viking one is like, I want to see the Viking show 1 hour a day. It's hilarious. So if you are not like, I don't like all the slasher crazy stuff. That's not my Halloween. My Halloween is fun and delightful and a little scary, and ghost stories. But those are 2 fun things that if you didn't have anything to do, that would be really fun because we love them. Also, I felt like I got my Christmas or my Halloween miracle yesterday because I didn't realize there was Psych 2, the movie, Lassie Come Home. So, and I don't know if you guys watch Psych. It's super silly, fun thing. It's one of the few things in the world that I watch that makes me laugh out loud really loud. So if you need a little joy, those are the things that I would recommend.
that's awesome. Thank you for doing this on our annual spooky Halloween cooking demo because I miss you. I maybe I'll see you December. Plan on December.
December is a definite possibility. So there is the possibility of some travel for us in the month coming up. So we'll see what happens.
And then, are you doing Thanksgiving?
I don't know that we're going to go do the Triangle Thanksgiving yet or not. We're not going with Linda for sure, like we usually do. They're opting out again this year. I am kind of interested in going to Cocoa because there's so much outside seating.
Let's do it.
So
We'll be there.
yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to Cheryl. And did you already tickets? You can't get tickets yet, though, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
I help. I'm involved. I'm on the in.
Oh, so I can just give you some money and perhaps mine will magically appear. I always felt like they just saw Linda Watson's name and we just got in because we got in every year. And I'm like, Linda, you buy the tickets. We're not swapping off buying the tickets. We just bring our cash with us to give to Linda because I feel like.
Well, one of the best ways is to do the lottery. And in the lottery, you want to say something like, we're sitting with Helene. I can't guarantee you'll get in, but I would put that in the notes.
Usually I do. I don't know that we have any books yet because we've been selling books through the Virtual Vegfest. And I know we're running super low. I think we still have oatmeal books. So if anybody's interested, go to Virtual Vegfest and we can send you a signed oatmeal book. And I think there's a few other ones. But I don't know that I have anything to give away at Thanksgiving this year.
It's okay. It's a smaller raffle. So, and I'm giving away gift certificates to virtualvegfest.com so they can essentially get your book anyway.
Yay!
It all works out. All works out for the best. Well, this is amazing, everybody. I'm going to say, Kathy, I'm going to put you back in the green room and I will talk to you in a few minutes. And let me close this out. All right.
Bye, everybody. Happy Halloween.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Halloween. Really appreciate that you took the time today to be part of this cooking demo, and everyone who follows Kathy Hester. Well, you're all awesome. And these are always so interactive because you're incredible, and that I greatly appreciate. I don't know when I'm coming on next on a Virtual Veg Fest Live. Thank you, Joanne. Thanks, Dawn. But it'll be soon or later, a couple weeks maybe. Happy Halloween, Tofu. So I don't know, but for now, go to virtualvegfest.com, enter our contest, watch Kimberly at 7 p.m. tomorrow, Fireside Chat with Kimberly, do yoga tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. or anytime because you can just go to YouTube and go to Virtual Veg Fest and watch anytime, do yoga, watch Kimberly, watch the vegan stew, and watch our repeats because we have over 100 of these, maybe 130 of these. I'm not even sure. But thank you again for your support. Really hope you have a great rest of your Halloween, and I will see you soon. Bye.